Hello everyone, welcome back to another week of Never Never Growing Up. This week I will be showing you a little bit of a DIY craft, how to make your very own Mickey Christmas wreath. Obviously the holidays are coming up, we have our tree here, our entire apartment is decorated, but we did not have a Christmas wreath. So I thought, why not get a little bit creative, add a bit of a Disney twist, and this is what I've come up with. So this is my completed Mickey wreath, or mini wreath I guess, because it has a bow, but there you go, this is what we're working with. So stay tuned and I will show you how to put this together. If you do enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, and do subscribe to our channel. We put up new videos every Sunday, so stay tuned. So hopefully by now you're feeling in the festive spirit. We absolutely are. We have our Christmas tree here and our whole apartment is decorated, but we do not have a wreath. So I thought I'd get creative and attempt to make one by myself. So I went to Michael's to pick up some supplies earlier today. They were all out of wreaths, as in the kind of twig wreaths. So I had to get a little bit even more creative and pick up 3 of these, what are they called? Floral craft rings, which I've just super glued together, as you can see, to form a Mickey shape, because of course it's going to be a Mickey wreath. And then I'll take you through my supplies, but that's going to be kind of the main base of what we're working with. And all these are just floral craft rings that I've glued together in the shape of the Mickey head. So outside of that, I've got myself a glue gun. It's just a mini one. I've never used this before, so this should be interesting. And then I picked up 4 of these little, what would you call these? Like little floral Christmas twigs. I got 4 of those. I don't know how many I'll need, but obviously these are massive, so I'm going to chop these up as I need to and probably glue those on. I have some of this burlap garland. I've actually cut a bunch of this in half because the wreath that I'm making is pretty small. I figured this would be too wide, so I split some of that in half. I have a couple of these just little floral accents, which are just kind of twigs and berries and pine cones, which I thought would be cute. And then I've got a couple of these little golden snowflakes. So those can be used at the end, I think, just to bring it all together. And then I have joy. I can put some joy on my wreath. And then finally at the end I have a Christmas bow to attach to the top of it. So I'm just gonna, oh, and I have fairy lights. I have LED battery powered fairy lights to put some lights in it. So I haven't watched any videos, I haven't seen any tutorials as to how to go about this properly, so I'm just gonna wing it and hope for the best. Okay, so I figure I'll start with the light so that I can cover up all the wire. This is just a small pack of 10 lights. It's 4.5 feet total length. So I'm just gonna wind it around all 3 rings, I think, to start with, and then kind of see what I'm working with. So I think, because obviously I'm gonna have to hide the battery pack, I'm just gonna put that against the bottom of the Mickey head and start weaving it around from there. I might start with a couple of turns because there's a lot of extra stuff here. So we'll just see how we go. Alright, so I've woven the lights kind of around just the middle circle here. There wasn't quite enough to go all the way around the ears as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some of this black electrical tape and then just kind of tape over some of the wires just to keep it in place, and so the lights will stay where I want them to be. Alright, so I've got a few little bits of tape on the ring there, just holding some of the lights in place. Hopefully that'll stay, but I'm hoping with everything else that we put on it, it will kind of work itself out. So now I figure I'm going to start with some of these little tree things. So I'm going to plug in my glue gun, get some So my glue is warming up as we speak. So what I'm going to start doing is taking one of these tree things and start cutting individually the little branches so that I can stick them on one by one. Because I think, looking at the width of my Mickey head, it should cover it, just having one of these go around the perimeter. So I'm already covered in glitter, but I'm going to start cutting and see how we go. It's worth noting I've had to graduate from scissors to wire cutters, is that what these are? Just to try and get these off because these are stiff. Woo! Oh, there's going to be so much glitter. So that was significantly more effort. If you can hear it in the background, John's helping me out cut another one of these because it's really hard. But anyway, I've separated out the pine cones and the little berries because I figured those are the types of things that could be added on afterwards. But what I'm going to start doing now is using my glue gun, is starting to arrange these little bristles, these little branches around the perimeter of my Mickey head. So I think I'm going to glue the wood rather than the tree itself. So let's get started. Turns out glue guns are very messy. Oh, is it supposed to make that noise? Now the difficulty I'm finding in doing this is because the branches are extremely straight, is finding a spot for them to actually hold on to the glue. But it's okay, we'll make it work. Thank you.
What?
It's my beautiful helper.
Emphasize on the
We can put emphasis on the beautiful if you want. Yes. Now obviously I'm being extremely careful not to actually get glue on the wires of the lights because I don't feel like that would be a very good idea. I'm just kind of pressing down and hoping for the best here. I'm putting a little overlap as well. So what I might do is put some glue on each of the branches that come before it. So the one in front of it has something to hold on to. I don't know, that sounds like a good idea to me. Alright, let's keep going. What I'm going to start doing, because I think it might be a good idea, is alternate the direction of the tree. So the ones at the bottom were facing the left, so I think the ones around the side will face towards the right. Imagine. You know, touch wood, they seem to be holding okay. We'll see. I think it's going to be good that I have those kind of windy twig things because I can then use those to hold down the trees as well as the burlap. So we've got a lot to work with, which is good. Alright, let's keep this going. Now here's a difficult one because I'm about to reach the ear. So I'm going to see how this works. I might have to chop the tree a little bit. Or maybe I can just overlap it somewhat. Let's see what we're doing. No, I'm just going to overlap it a bit. I think that will be fine. So I'll just wait for this to dry and I'll show you what this looks like so far. What do you think?
Smiley face.
Alright, so far I think this is good. We'll keep going. We'll go around to the ears. This should be slightly easier because we've got no electricals to be concerned about. So let's get going. What I'm going to do for the ears as well is just kind of bend this before I glue it down because hopefully that should aid it to go around the circle a little bit easier. That completely sounded like I know what I'm doing. So just a little bend, and then I'll glue it. Now what I've become quite conscious of already is because the ears are so small, I'm going to need to glue around the outside rather in the middle, because otherwise I fear that it might just look like a blob rather than a perfect circle of an ear. Alright, so all the trees have been glued on, so I'm quite impressed with that, apart from a few bits of glue. But that is what we're working with so far.
Very nice.
I'm impressed, I'm impressed. So I'm gonna lay this down. I'm probably gonna let it dry for just a couple of minutes. And then, obviously I've still got all the holly, the pine cones. I'm probably gonna leave those bits till last. You know, I might try and go in with a little bit of this burlap. Now, I'm probably, because it's quite obvious, like it's quite dark, it's probably gonna take away from the green a little bit. I might just string it around a couple of times. But as I mentioned, I have cut it in half. So yeah, I think that'll work. Make it look kind of rustic. I'm gonna start gluing onto the wood. So I might turn this on the side so that I can simultaneously see where the glue is going and also see how tightly I need to be wrapping this burlap garland as well. So I think I'm gonna start kind of on the side and just do a little section of glue up here. So the glue I've just got in that little section, so I'm just going to hold down the burlap here. Obviously it doesn't have to be neat, like it doesn't have to be exactly on covering this whole back bit, because obviously we're hiding this little bit with all the greenery going on here, but that feels pretty good to me. That feels like it's going to stay. So then I'm just going to turn it back around to establish how tight I want this to be wrapped, which is going to be tricky because we've got a lot of fabric here. I'm just going to feed it through the middle, like so, and then I think I just want it really loosely wrapped. Now I don't know if I'm going to need to add any more glue to hold this in place. I might add a couple more bits once it's kind of tied in place. As I say, it's all trial and error right now. I'm learning as I go. Okay, perfect. So I've kind of woven it so it's in the places that I want it on the greenery. So then I'm just holding down this fold here. So I'm just going to flip it back on its side and hot glue that to the wood on the back. So far so good, guys, going well. I was approaching this with some trepidation, having not even used a glue gun since I was about 12, so far so good, touch wood. Talking of wood, I've got a workstation full of glitter right now. No problem. Alright, I'm just holding that in place so that it glues down completely. And then that is the wreath with the burlap. Okay, so with that drying, I need to work out what I want to add next. So I'm thinking, while we're in the process of weaving burlap and doing all of that, I might add these little, what do they call them, it's floral accents. And this is where it's going to start looking a little bit more rustic, because it's all made out of wood and pine cones and just has that real Christmassy look. Now I don't know if I'm going to need both of these that I bought. I mean, these are what? Actually, these are 5 foot. I might just need one. But in my opinion, it's always better to have more, just in case you need them. But again, I'm just going to weave these. Now I'm hoping this won't need any glue, because it is like almost like a wire. So I'm just going to kind of weave them around and tuck bits in as I go. and just see what happens, really. Haha. So I'm thinking I'm gonna start in between the burlap garlands that I put on just now, and then I'm probably gonna go over the burlap as well, just because I want these to be a little bit tighter than the burlap, because obviously they're a little bit smaller and everything's a little bit more neat and detailed. So I'm probably going to do double the loops of the burlap garland, and I'm probably going to take these all the way around the 2 ears as well, because I think that'll be cute. Oh, I just realised I'm going to need some glue to keep the first bit in place. So I'm just gluing over the top of one of the sticks in a couple of places to kind of attach it to the greenery. Probably should have thought about that first. But anyway, secure it is the name of the game. The nice thing about these is they're super bendy and super pliable, so I can kind of arrange them once it's all woven in so that it looks exactly the way that I want it to. Here we go, I'm starting to get the hang of it now, I think. Alright, now like I said, I'm up to the ear. So I'm actually going to take it around the perimeter of the ear this time, rather than skip it. And hopefully this will again reinforce the super glue that's holding together the main base and the ear. Alright, we've actually come to the end of that first little accent there. So I'm just going to kind of bend all the little bits and pieces around so that they are in position in the way that I want them to be. I don't really think I'm going to have to glue them down because they are at this end kind of pliable and wiry. So I'm just going to arrange them. I'm going to lay it down so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just bending all the little pieces around and making them look pretty. And then luckily I bought the second one because then I'll get started on tying that one as well. So 2 actually for this size wreath. I'll actually leave the size of the wreaths that I used at the bottom because I know I didn't comment on it. But 2 of these little accents worked perfectly. So I am pleased as punch with the way that that has worked. So I'm just again going to arrange them so they look nice. As I said, there's going to be a bow right on the top so it doesn't need to go all the way around. But I'd say this looks pretty good. Alright, so this is what it looks like so far. I think this looks pretty good. What do you think?
Very nice.
Thank you. So, I guess what's left to do is to maybe tuck in and glue some of these little accents from the tree. So I've got some glittery, like little holly leaves and some little white berries, so they might work nicely. I did buy, as I said, a couple of gold snowflakes. And the last thing I want to do is put on the bow. We'll start with these little green glittery holly leaves. So how many have I got? I've got one here, got some over here. I've just got stuff everywhere. My thoughts are, with these little accents, is that they don't need to be perfect. I'm just maybe going to glue these little holly leaves to the burlap and hope that it sticks, really. Let's see. So the way that it's worked out is I pretty much have a glittery holly leaf on almost all of the burlap folds. Just the way it's worked out. But I think with something like this, just might as well do it sporadically. Oh, Alright, so next, now we've got the holly leaves in place, I'm going to use a couple of these little berries. What I'm thinking, looking at them, is I might take off a couple of the branches of berries because they're just going to take up a lot of space, and I think I just don't want it to be too much because everything else is kind of light. So I'm just going to take off a couple of these, and then I'll maybe use 2, possibly 3 strains of these, just kind of random places again within the wreath. And then I'll have to work out how to make them stick too. I think again I'm just going to maybe add it to some burlap and kind of tuck it in as I go into the branches. So I'm just going to stick a bit of glue here and hope that it sticks. Alright, so as I say, that is quite a lot of white berry there. So I might just add a couple more of these in random spaces. Take a couple of these little tiny stick ones and add them to the top of the ears if I can, just to add a little bit more of an accent up the top of the ears so they look as much of the wreath as the bottom of the head. So actually I'm putting this on anywhere where there's just a bit of loose greenery to bring it all together. And actually when I can see a little bit of wood too. Alright, so I'm done with the white berries, and it looks as though we are coming almost to the end. So what can we do to bring it all together? Do we add some snowflakes? What do you think? Snowflakes, or would that be too much?
You do 1 or 2.
Yeah, that could work, huh? If I try and tuck the snowflakes, actually if I take off these berries while they're still hot, I think a snowflake will work really well there. And I think these are just kind of hanging ornaments, but what I'm going to try and do is glue in the middle a bit and try and stick it down to our wreath and hope for the best. And I have been doing this whole way. Now it's worth noting, if you're not used to glue guns, this process uses a lot of glue cartridge, so definitely stock up. So I'm just going to press down this snowflake, hope that sticks. We've got 2 snowflakes on there. So the one thing I might add now is just this little joy sign because I think it's super cute. So let's see if there's a space for it. Oh, well the stick fell off. That's not very good. Never mind. I think this is going to work fine. I think we'll have a spot for it right at the bottom here. What I might do is just glue right the way around the O of the joy. Alright, so we have joy on our wreath. And the final thing to do is just to add the bow. Now Michael's had these in all different types of colours and textures. They had glittery bows and they had like plaid bows. I went for a deep red velvet bow, just because I want it to be a little bit old school. And the nice thing about this is it has the little wire things around the back, so all I should have to do, in theory, is tie this around the top of my wreath. So let's do it. So I decided to cut off the ends of the bow just so it looks a little bit more like a mini bow. So I'm just gonna take some sharp scissors and carefully cut off the ends, like so, because this is a Disney wreath. Alright, so here we go. There, apart from the lights, is my finished wreath. So we'll get some lights on it and then we'll show you the finished article. Alright, so I've tied it up and this is the finished article. I'm actually pretty pleased with how it turned out. Let me switch the lights on for you as well, because there's no Christmas wreath without fairy lights. Ta-da! So this is my finished Mickey wreath. We are all finished, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and please do comment below if you would like to see more DIY and craft type things from us. I really enjoyed doing that, so comment below if you'd like to see more. Do subscribe to our channel to check out all of our videos from now on, and please like this video if you enjoyed it. Have a fantastic holiday, guys, and I shall see you again soon. Bye bye.